Your mind doesn't move, but it's your awareness that travels to different areas of the mind. It's in my humble opinion that most people can't concentrate today for two reasons. One is we're never taught how to concentrate, and second is we don't practice concentration. I define willpower as your mental muscle, right? So if I could draw biceps around my mind, that would be my willpower.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
Need motivation?
Watch your top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and this channel is created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So get ready to have a clear vision, learn to concentrate, and have clear boundaries with Dandapani and my take on his top 10 rules of success to give you the confidence, motivation, and belief that you need. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule #1. Have a clear vision of your life.
I'll share a little story. I was walking here for the interview, so walking to the subway, and I was at a traffic light, and this lady turned and looked at me, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then we crossed, and then she was walking a little bit behind me, and then she came up next to me, and she goes, "Are you the guy with the YouTube videos?" And I go like, "Which ones?" And she's not. The motivational ones. I'm like, oh yeah, that one. Okay. Didn't know what YouTube video she was talking about. Anyway, she started talking, and we caught the same train. And one of the things she said is that, I don't know what I want in life.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I want in life. So if you have no idea what you want in life, how then can you prioritize your life? You can't prioritize. And if you ask most people, what do you want in life? They're like, to be happy. Happiness is not a focus, happiness is not a priority in life. Happiness comes as a byproduct of living a certain way. But first you have to be super clear of how you want to live your life. What is your life about? What's your purpose in life? And most people don't know. And because they don't know their purpose, then they don't know their priorities. The purpose defines your priorities. And once you have your clear of your purpose defines your priorities. Once you know your priorities, then you can focus on them. But if you don't know your purpose, then you don't know your priorities. So to answer your questions, how are people dealing with priorities? Not very well, because most people have no idea what their priorities in life are.
Rule #2, learn to concentrate.
When I was growing up as a child, I was teased very often for being so distracted. Teased for being distracted, teased for not being able to concentrate. And had I not been born a few decades ago, I probably would have been given one of those colorful acronyms like ADD or ADHD, and branded and probably drugged for not being able to concentrate, right? It wasn't until I was in my early 20s when I graduated from university. I grew up in Australia, and I left and went to Hawaii, where I joined my guru's monastery. It was a cloistered traditional Hindu monastery, where he taught me how to concentrate. And that's really what I want you to keep in mind, this concept of being taught how to concentrate. It's in my humble opinion that most people can't concentrate today for two reasons. One is we're never taught how to concentrate. And second is we don't practice concentration. Right? So how can you do something if you're never taught how to do it? And how can you be good at something if you don't practice it?
Rule #3, exercise discipline.
People come up to me and they hold their cell phones at me and they go, these things are ruining our lives.
Right.
And my response always is, absolutely not.
Right.
What's ruining your life is your inability to exercise discipline around the use of your technology. That's what's ruining your life.
Because the technology ends up using you.
Exactly. The technology is beautiful. I can call my mother in Australia and see her in literally 5 seconds.
It's amazing.
How amazing is that? Right? So it's your inability to exercise discipline around the use of technology is what's ruining your life. The technology itself is not bad.
Rule #4, use the right tool for the right job.
I think it was something that I learned from one of the senior monks in the monastery who was a really good carpenter. And I love carpentry, so I would go to our wood shop and work with him, and he was an amazing carpenter. And one of the things I really learned from him was about using the right tool for the right job and taking care of that tool and keeping the wood planes really sharp and oiled and nicely put away and taking care of the tool, and really also understanding the tool and how it works.
Also, if you want to have more confidence, self-love, and motivation, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
It's easy to make a buck, very hard to make a difference.
The quality of your life is essentially determined by how you carry this one. Yes or no?
No one on planet Earth can stop you from accomplishing and achieving what you want.
Rule number 5, have clear boundaries.
I live in an apartment in New York, and I used to have a home office. One of the rooms in my apartment was an office. Now my daughter's taken over, so I got kicked out. But before, that was my office. So I had a room in the apartment, and that was purely my office. And that's where I worked. So if I need to send a text message or make a phone call, I go into that room and do it. I don't do it in the kitchen. I don't do it in the living room. I don't do it in the bedroom, because then my family knows if I'm in the living room, I'm just hanging out. That's where I watch TV, or I don't have a TV, I watch Netflix on my computer, or I'm hanging out with my family. If I'm in the kitchen, then I'm home. But if I'm in the workroom, office, then I'm working. So it's very, very clear boundaries. And I think workspaces should have that too, because if you don't, then what ends up happening is that you make every space in the workspace a work area. There might be some offices that have nice relaxation rooms where people can go relax. But then you'll find people talking about work in there.
Rule number 6, stop practicing distraction.
So if I wanted to play for the Chicago Bulls or dance for the San Francisco Ballet Company, I ask people this question all the time in my talks. I ask them, how many hours a day should I practice? The general answer is usually about 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. And then I ask them, so after 6 months, can I play for the Bulls? The answer is usually no. After a year? No. But I'd be better at basketball, right? I'd be a better ballet dancer. So imagine if you practice distraction 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. What would you be good at after 6 months? Distraction. After a year, you'd be really good at distraction. After a year and a half, you'd be an expert at distraction. You'd write the New York Times bestseller on distraction. TEDx would invite you to come and give a keynote on distraction. You'd get on stage, you'd be so distracted you forget what you were supposed to talk about. Right? That's how good you are. All right? But the truth is, we don't practice distraction 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. The truth is, we probably practice it more like 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. The average person sleeps, 7 to 8 hours, to say, roughly. So we're awake for about 16 hours of the day. Let's just say on average we're practicing it 13 hours a day, 7 days a week, distraction. And then you wonder why you're so good at it. That's the law of practice. The law of practice is that we become good at whatever it is we practice. Whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't matter. If you practice something over and over and over again, you become really good at it.
Rule number 7, control your awareness.
How would you define awareness if concentration is sustained awareness over a period of time? Do you have like a metaphor for?
Yeah, I would say in understanding the mind, the simple way I teach people this is there's two things you need to understand. You need to understand there's the mind and there's awareness. So let's define both of them. I define the mind as a vast space with many different areas within it. One area of the mind is anger, one area is jealousy, one area is happiness, food, sex, photography, so many different areas of the mind. And then you have awareness. I define awareness as a glowing ball of light. So imagine an orb or ball of light that can float around. So your mind doesn't move, but it's your awareness that travels to different areas of the mind. So you hear people say all the time, oh, I have a monkey mind, or my mind travels a lot, or my mind's all over the place. Technically, I believe, from my experience, that's false. The mind doesn't move, but it's awareness that's traveling within the mind. So your awareness can go to the happy area of the mind, it can go to the sad area of the mind, it can go to the scientific area of the mind. Your goal is to control your awareness, that ball of light, and determine where it goes in your mind.
Rule number 8, wisely invest your energy.
You've got so many people wanting so many things from you all day long. Knowing having the ability, I should say, to discriminate where to wisely invest your energy throughout the day I think is a crucial skill that a tech executive actually needs to cultivate in life. But you won't know where to put your energy if you don't know where you're going. And it's the same case with life right now. People have no idea in the sense of purpose in life, what their purpose in life, what they want to do in life, so their energy is scattered all over the place.
Rule number 9, develop your willpower.
I define willpower as your mental muscle, right? So if I could draw biceps around my mind, that would be my willpower.
How do you train it?
How do you develop willpower? Yeah. Simple way is to finish what you begin, right? Every time you finish what you start, you're developing willpower. Because it's so easy to start a project, but to finish it is much harder. So the three of you have an idea, let's go to New York and do interviews. That's exciting, right? Full of ideas, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll go here, we'll fly in a helicopter, we'll shoot this.
That was MP.
That's MP. Then you come here, you have a great time, you shoot, right? Then in a few days, on Sunday, you get on a plane and you fly back to Munich and then to Hamburg, right?
How do you know?
I know things, special powers. I also talked to MP before the interview. So you're exhausted, you get home, you're jet lagged, now you have other work things, your family's there. Now to finish what you begin is going to be a lot of work. To take all these hours and hours of footage, to go through everything, to edit it, it's going to be so painful, right? And then to do it better than you think you can, and to do a little bit more than you think you can. The first interview, you'll do a nice job. The second one, by the fourth and fifth one, you're going like, oh my God, I have like 10 hours of footage here. I have to sit and go through. But to finish it and do it better than you think you can, and to do more than you think you can, takes tremendous amount of willpower. So every time you finish what you begin, you're developing willpower.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is learn how the mind works.
All of us have a mind. It's the most powerful tool in the world. It built a smartphone. It's put machines that drive itself on Mars. Yet there's no manual for the mind, right? When was the last time you saw a manual for the mind? Yet you buy a point and shoot camera whose only purpose and duty is to point and shoot. It comes with a 100-page manual, right? Yet we have the most complex tool in the world, our mind, and there's no manual. So the first thing I learned when I went to the monastery was to learn how the mind works. Because once you know how the mind works, you can control it. And once you can control it, you can focus it. You can't focus or concentrate something you don't understand.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Dandapani on why you should not be doing too much that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What are some clear boundaries that you need to set for yourself? Number 2, where do you need to stop practicing distraction? And number 3, where do you need to more wisely invest your energy? And if you made it this far in a video and you commit that you're gonna take action, we don't just watch videos here, we do something, give me a hashtag believe down in the comments below, because I want to celebrate you.
My biggest challenge in my business is me. It really is. I'm my biggest obstacle. And I say that because I have my own business, I'm an entrepreneur. I have tons of energy and tons of ideas and tons of things that I want to do. The biggest challenge is I try to do too much. Okay. And I always want to do too much. And it's really about narrowing that focus and harnessing it.
Yeah.
You know, harnessing that creativity, harnessing that energy and narrowing that focus and directing it to what is really important in my business right now in relation to where I want to go. So being very clear of my future of my business and where I want to take it, and then being very clear about the priorities of what I need to do now in order to manifest that future vision. And it's perpetual effort in doing that almost on a daily basis.
If you want to see 10 more amazing, thought-provoking rules for success, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
It's through confusion, it's through challenges that often inspire us to search deeper.